Football Championships. In our second contest of the day in Group A, would you please welcome the two teams for tonight's match? They are the military teams from the Republic of Korea and Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise for the playing of the national anthem for the Republic of Korea, and please remain standing for the national anthem of Canada. Once again, with the CISM motto of friendship through sports, we wish the best for each of the teams in their challenge to win the 2018 Military World Cup. Again, we want to remind you that this championship is a part of the Conseil International du Sport Militaire, affectionately known in English as the International Military Sports Council, and referred to around the world as CISM, C-I-S-M. They've got over 138 member countries, and they conduct more than 20 military world championships for its member nations every year. Their motto is simple, and it's direct. It is friendship through sports. Our coin toss in the center of the field. And our officials for today's game. Our referee, Mi Xiu from China. Our first assistant, Bu Mengzhao, also from China. Second assistant, Dan Frisian from Netherlands. And our fourth official, Florence Guillemin, France. For those of you following us on Facebook, once again, we want to welcome you to Stout Field here at Fort Bliss, Texas, in the 11th edition of the World Military Women's Football Championship. I'm Van Stokes, and we're glad you could be with us for this, the second game in the third day of competition here in this tournament. Game 1 earlier today, China beat the USA 3-0, took a 3-0 lead into the half, and held on to that to provide a 3-0 win when that game came to a close. Now it's the Republic of Korea going against Canada in their first game in this tournament. Korea defeated USA 1-0. That was 2 days ago in the first day of the tournament. And Canada picked up their first ever point in CISM play as they tied the Netherlands 0-0. That's all in Group A action. Canada coming out with the white shirts. They've got the black trunks and the white socks. Alex Hogue is going to be in the goal. She'll be joined by Emma Owen, Jessica Hahn, Laura Imhoff, Rachel Kuczynski, Shauna Mackey, Renee McClellan, and Alex Childs, Joycelyn Coe, as well as Kate Searle and Valerie Terriel. Your lineup for the Republic of Korea: in the goal, Kwon Jeong. She'll be joined by Ban Du-young, Moon Seong-mi, Kim Yong-ju, Jeong Yukan-ju, Kwon Han-nul, Lim Li-rang, Kim Won-ji, Nam Jeong-min, Kim Min-jin, and Kim Ji-ha. And wherever you are, we're delighted you could be with us here tonight for this game. If you're out there, let us hear from you. You can contact us on Facebook. We'll remind you at the conclusion of this game, it will be posted to YouTube, so you'll have the opportunity to review it at your pleasure. And this game is underway. First few minutes, each team starting to get some idea on how their opponents may be playing, and that's what we're going to see probably in the first couple of minutes in this. We continue to work to overcome technical difficulties caused once again by the heat here in El Paso, Texas. 104 degrees yesterday, over 100 earlier today, and as we begin this broadcast right now, it's 92 degrees. 97 at the start of game 1 earlier today, but now down to 92. Breeze down on the field up to about 25 miles per hour earlier. It has settled down perhaps a little bit. The humidity, fortunately, it's low. Korea playing a very controlled kind of game, as they did the other night against the United States. Shot down the left side. What a save. Nice job by Hogue. Hogg in the goal deflects it and knocks away, but a really good effort that time by Korea coming down to the right side. That was Han Ah-reum in the starting lineup for Korea. She had the shot, and that was Alex Hogue who had the save. In comes Korea from the corner on the right side. Another shot on goal, and again, Hogue, busy in the first 2 minutes of play, deflects the next one over the crossbar. And if there's any doubt about how long it's going to take to figure out what Korea's game plan is, it's real simple. One word: attack. That's what they're doing tonight. Corner kick again. Left corner for Korea. It's up, and it's over everybody, and we'll head out on the other end of the field. Canada's ball. And again, high arching shot. This one travels up over the net. Once again, that comes off of the left foot of Han Ah-reum. They've got her listed on the roster as a defender, but she has taken the last couple of shots. And Canada puts it out on the other side. Throw in, Korea. Push from behind. Korea maintains possession. Straight down the center. Long shot on goal, and it's goal, Korea. What a shot on goal. Beyond the arms of Alex Hogg and into the back of the net. And in the first 3 minutes of play, it's 1-0 Korea. Kim Min-jin rendering the salute to her teammate, and here comes Korea again. Canada on the defense. And Korea comes roaring into this game. They beat the USA 2 days ago 1-0. USA went into the half 0-0. That goal was scored just now by Kwon Ha-nul. Kwon Ha-nul is really their star player. She's been on the national team 14 years. In fact, she was the youngest player in Korea to be named to the national team, went on that team at age 16. Cross shot, it's going to get out to the right side. They're going to track it down. It goes out of bounds off of Korea. But talking about Kwon Ha-nul, she belongs to the Century Club for the Republic of Korea, and that is having played in over 100 contests on the national team for Korea. This is a team that is looking for its first gold medal in CISM competition. They've always been in the top tier. It's a team that has played together throughout the course of the year. They're not strangers to each other, like many other countries that will come together and have a 1 week or a 2 week training camp, as their players will come from all around their branch of their military. The Korean military team stays together, practices together, and competes as a team in a league in Korea together against 8 other women's teams. So that's how you develop your skill. That's how you develop your teamwork. And they have clearly demonstrated it not only the other night against USA, but then again very quickly here against Canada tonight. Again, they stay on the attack, going down the right side, left side. We talked earlier about the game between USA and China and noted that we had seen the Netherlands, we had seen France, and we had seen Germany, each of whom brought a European style of play into this tournament. Now you're seeing Korea. We saw China earlier tonight. The question is, what kind of play would they bring? Well, I think we have seen clearly. It's a control, aggressive, attack kind of play. They don't have the speed that you're going to find in South America, but they've got a lot of good things. And they got a great contingent of spectators with Korean flags down in the bleachers here at Stout Field. Of course, we saw that last night when Germany played France. A lot of spectators for Germany. Play out in the midfield. And Kim Yong-ju on the right side, controlling the ball. She'll scoot it up. Gets it up front. Active on the ball was Kim Ji-won. Hustling in quickly, Kim Min-jin. They're quick, but they're also a finesse team. Technically sound, tactically sound, and technically sound both. Kim Min-jin very active in the midfield. Crossfield pass, that comes over to Kim Ji-won. Out of bounds, Canada will take over. That came off the chest of Rachel Kaczynski. Canada will try it again. Down the line, nice header. Kaczynski getting it back upfield. Excuse me, that was Jessica Hahn. We are in the 9th minute of play here in this, the second contest of the day. Canada trying to put an attack together itself. They're across the midfield line. Center of the ball, Korea comes away with it. They will scoot it out to the left side. Maintaining control. Nicely done that time. That was Han Ah-ryum. And back down for Alex Hogg. She'll scoot it out. Canada will try to set it up again. Much like the United States, we saw the United States launch a pass, long pass downfield, but there was no one there to either receive it or take control of it. And Canada mirroring that play just a little bit in this game against Korea. Header towards the goal. Nice block, nice deflection that time by Alex Hogg, and it goes back over the net. So trying to keep an eye on the video here up in the booth, and looks like it's a few seconds delay, but hopefully the voice is being matched up with what you're able to watch on Facebook. Here comes Korea, down the center, the give, the go. Nice defense by Canada this time. Out on the left side. Kate Searle trying to move things up. Searle can't get it done. Korea takes charge again. Down deep left side, long shot on goal, and it's, oh. Score the goal, Korea. Couldn't tell if it got behind the net, but it's goal, Korea. Could not tell from up here whether it's snuck behind the net or up in front. But Korea goes up 2-0. They have been on the attack. And they have prospered well. Wow. Canada needing to regroup just a little bit. We talked about resiliency in game one when the USA women's team fell behind by 3. Now here we are, early stages, 12th minute of this contest. Canada falls behind by 2. Shot on goal that time came from Kim Won-ji. So you got Kwan Ha-nul with her second goal in the tournament. She scored the goal against USA the other night. She got the first goal tonight. And then Kim Won-ji gets the second goal for Korea. Korea trying to press it up on the left side, but Canada getting out quickly. Here comes Korea one more time. They're coming down the right side. Good fake, good move around. Canada come up to knock it out of the way. Good effort that time. That's Emma Owen back on defense. Cleared it and gets it upfield in good shape. Renee McClellan. She's got the challenge as it goes back down to the goalie Kwon Jeong. Korea will take its time. They'll look to the left side, their right side. Leading pass, no offside, well played to fight for the ball. They're headed towards the goal, front of the goal, and cleared out. Another shot, and bounces off of a Canada player and goes out of bounds. Hard press, hard opportunity, good opportunity, but credit Canada, they turned the tide. They turned it away. You got to like it. You play with heart, you play with soul. You step up, and everything else will take care of itself. Corner kick, Korea. And the corner flags blowing briskly. Short kick in. They're going to come back out, work towards the middle. Attempted shot, but stepping up nicely. That time was Canada's Alex Childs. Korea on the throw in. Back in the center. They're going to try to work it around. You got McClellan involved in the play, and it's going to be Korea's ball. One-third of the way through the first half in this contest. They like to work it, does the Republic of Korea, and they do so with skill. Over to the right side. Down on the play went Sarah, but she rebounded nicely. Leading pass straight down the center, but they're going to call offsides. Otherwise, we might have seen another opportunity launched by Korea. And that could have come off the foot of Han Al-Ryum. They gather quickly. They'll take control. They'll put it where they need to in order to be able to set up their offense. Back out to the center, and let's see where they go. Look to the right side. Instead, it comes pretty much up the center. Offside's called again. They like to get that pass out there, but the offside's going to happen when you get that aggressive. They've been called a couple of times. Korea takes it off the pass. They set up their offense. Give to the right side. Knocked out of the way nicely that time by Jessica Hahn. Comes out of bounds on the right side. Canada the ball. We want to remind you that you can follow the Armed Forces Sports Championship events all over social media. Our late-breaking tournament news is on Twitter. You can look us up searching the handle at U.S. Military Sport. That's right, U.S. Military Sport with no S at the end. We've been tweeting so long our name wouldn't fit under the Twitter's whole rules, so that's why it's U.S. Sport, not U.S. Sports, U.S. Military Sport. For match wrap-ups and great photos, you can follow and like us on Facebook. Just search Armed Forces Sports and you'll see a link to our Facebook feed as you're watching here tonight. And you'll find our most extensive photo coverage on Armed Forces Sports events on Flickr. Just search us at Armed Forces Sports on Flickr. Five shots on goal so far by Korea. Canada has yet to launch their first shot. Canada having to play defense for the majority of this contest thus far, which was pretty much what happened to the United States when they lined up against China earlier tonight. Corner, nice block that time. Good defense by Canada. So we'll come back out to the corner. And look for a good long cross kick here from the corner. There it comes. Back across the middle, headed out of bounds. Looked like Kaczynski, but I couldn't see the number from here. Back to the corner again, and this one clears everybody as it heads out of bounds beyond the goal line. That'll be up to Hogg to get it straight. That was Jessica Hahn, not Kaczynski, that did a good job back on the defense. 34 degrees Celsius, 93 degrees Fahrenheit. The winds have dropped down to, well, they're between 16 miles per hour. Used to be a little higher. They've dwindled just a little bit. That's 25 kilometers per hour. So those are the conditions. Humidity is low. Temperatures very hot during the day. Evenings a little bit cooler. And players have adjusted tremendously, acclimated nicely here at Fort Bliss, Texas. A couple of notes about Fort Bliss. It's the nation's air defense headquarters. And this is a military community that has grown up to over 164,000 people, and that includes soldiers, family members, retirees in and around the El Paso area. In fact, they are considered the second largest military installation in the entire United States Army. Now I know there's a few other installations that may challenge that. If you're a Fort Bragg, a Fort Hood, or places like that. But this is a place that's very strategic to the United States Army and our national defense efforts. Make no bones about it. Here comes Canada. They're on a run. Back drops Korea. Really nice play that time. In defense by Kim Ji-won. You see the Korean flags of the spectators down to the right of us here, and then you see the Canadian flags down to the left of us. But that's what you have when you get international competition like this. Hustle for the ball. Korea comes away. Foul on the play. Canada retains. 2 nights ago, we heard the chants, USA, well, not USA, USA, USA. USA is when you're in the foreign country and you have, well, foreign country folks yelling for the United States. I've been away from America too long. Korea, they are just as tough on defense as they are on offense. Group A consists of the United States, who is 0-2 right now. Korea, coming into this game, 1-0. Netherlands, Canada, fought to a draw the other night. And China, by beating the United States earlier tonight, they are 1-0. A little too early to size up the group and who might emerge as the victor. But I can tell you right away that 2 strong, dominant teams in Group A, you've got to look towards Korea. You've got to look towards China. And the winner of Group A, they're going to face the winner of Group B for the gold medal match on July the 3rd. Shot down low, but nice job by Alex Hogg coming out of the goal to stop the attempted shot. Canada's got the feel, as long as they got it back down on the other side of the field, that they might even get a little bit of a breather, because they have been pressed heavily and Alex Hogg has been busy. Joining me a little later in the broadcast will be the Chief of the United States Delegation and the Secretariat of the U.S. Armed Forces. That's Mr. Steve Denote. Always a pleasure to be able to chat with him about not only what's in front of us in terms of the 2018 World Military Women's Soccer Championship, but all the goings-on of the Armed Forces sports in the United States. What a program. Shot down low. It's going to go wide. Nice deflection, and Korea just continues to turn up the heat. As if it's not hot enough already. We are approaching the midpoint in this, the first half, which will result in a 1-minute water break. Modification to the FIFA rules by CISM. Canada working hard to get across midfield. Instead, it will go back to Hogg. Emma Owen's pretty busy on defense as well. But up steps Korea. And Hogg will have another opportunity to clear it out. Pass missed downfield that time, so it will be Korea's ball to inbound. You got Kate Serrell over on the left side. And given plenty of room, Serrell can do some damage. But Korea's not going to give him room. She's got a good foot and a good shot. But getting her forward and getting her in a striking position, that's another story. Canada trying to keep it alive, and it goes out of bounds. It's going to be Korea's ball. Korea leads in this contest 2-0. And Korea maintains possession. Did you know that Fort Bliss was named after Major William Bliss and reestablished in 1854? He was the son-in-law of President Zachary Taylor, so you talk about history. There's plenty of it around here. Left side for Korea, stopped nicely by Canada. They're going to try to turn it around, but Korea will maintain possession. Brings it back to the center of the field. They set it up very methodically. All the way to the right side. Find an opening. They're trying to look down low. Trying to find Ham Arun. They'll go left side instead. Shot on goal, up and over the net. And that is how they scored their first goal. You see the plays, but the question is, even though you can see the plays and what they're going to run, can you stop them? And that's the way they scored on their first goal. This time it went wide. 27th minute of play. McClellan with the ball. She's going to launch it long. Korea will take control. Sends it back to the goalkeeper. That is Kwon Jeong. And there, I thought might have been a water break, but that's not going to be the case. Play continues. And it's real possible they may not take a water break. I'm not 100% for sure what the degree reading has to be before they go over there. As we head now into the 28th minute. As I check up here in the press box, I don't know if it's 32 degrees Celsius or 34 degrees that sends them over to get hydrated with water. But one of the two, and they're probably listening to the broadcast because that's where they're headed right now, is over to the far side to get water. We're talking about it, and they're doing it. Simple as that. Stay hydrated, safety first, fairness second, and then friendship through sports third. As welcome back into the broadcast, the Chief of the United States Delegation, Steve Denote. And Steve, you know, you've got to mitigate the heat, and the only way you can do that is make the rules modification and allow these teams to get a break, not for air, but to stay hydrated. Fortunately, we haven't seen any cramping, and we haven't seen any serious injuries that are heat-related.
That's correct, and we haven't run out of pickle juice at the commissary either, so I think they're doing what they got to do to make sure they have plenty of electrolytes in that body.
Well, I am talking to not only the Chief of the United States Delegation, but I'm also talking to a certified athletic trainer, which is part of your background. You have a long, storied background that has touched a lot of different bases in and around the world of sports, and being a certified athletic trainer is one of those bases. So you certainly, when it comes to the electrolytes and what it takes to get the electrolytes into our system, I yield to you. Simple as that.
Yeah. And sadly, I'm not certified any longer. Unfortunately, that ran out. Just not enough time to keep it up. But, however, yes, those were the days when you learned about pickle juice and all the little little tricks on making sure the athletes weren't dropping like flies on you in those hot conditions.
You know, you're an administrator now, but speaking about being an ATC as an athletic trainer, you had direct contact with the players. I mean, now you're very heavily in the organization and administration of military sports by virtue of your position with the Department of Defense. Do you miss those days of being close to the athlete?
Every day. Just being down there, making sure you were the one responsible for getting them back out on the field, making sure that their overall health care was taken care of. I mean, that was you. You were the EMT, the physical therapist. You were the person to determine whether they went to see the doctor or if they just had to lay on the bed for a little while. It was a great, fantastic run. Was very blessed to have that opportunity. Penn State grad, so I'm going to throw out my alum, Penn State University.
No patronizing around here, please, okay?
No, not greatest school in the world.
Yeah, especially if you happen to come from Penn State.
That is correct.
How do they say that?
We
are Penn State. Yeah.
We are Penn State. So just a shout out to our athletic trainers and that great program there at Penn State University. There's a storied program there, not just in athletics, but just academics and sports medicine. It was just a great fitting.
There is you got to give a shout out to all the ATCs that do the great things that they do in and around the world of sports. And I'm not really talking about professional sports as much as I am talking about collegiate sports, and then, of course, amateur sports. I use that word loosely, but Olympic-type sports, where so many trainers will volunteer their time and just do what they can to help these teams that are trying to be all they can be. The player down on the far side, that's from Korea. See if we can't put a number on that for you.
And, of course, you see a physiotherapist or team doctor running out there to make sure. And I don't know if she's going to be able to stay in.
Yeah, I don't know either. She is holding her leg and holding her ankle. That does not look like a cramp. But she's up on her feet right now. So that's a lower ankle. She's going to hop around on one foot, see what she can do. And I'm with you. I don't think she's going to stay in.
Either they're going to sub her out or they're going to let her sit for a second until she gets that.
That's Kim Won-ji. She's a forward for the Korean team. So they're going to let her recover a little bit. And Korea with a 2-0 lead, continuing to press the attack as Alex Hogg comes out of the goal and makes a diving stop there. Korea right now playing with 10 so that Kim Won-ji can come back into this contest when she feels ready. And here she comes. She's back out on the field. You got to like it.
That's athletics there for you, Van. Doesn't matter how bumped you are. You have one desire, and that's to stay on the field at all costs.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, when I work with collegiate sports and I talk to ATCs, when I talk to them, you got Korea on the left side, crossing kick, not under control. That was one of the few times that I've seen Korea come down, not be under control. 1-on-1 right now, down in the right corner. Comes back out. They're going to set it up in the center. Straight ahead. Looking to give, looking to go. Did not come back. Korea will try it again. As soon as the action dies down, I'll make my point about ATCs at the intercollegiate level. A lot of movement. Big, long shot. It's going to drift to the right side. My point is
that went into East Texas.
Yeah, oh, close. I'm not for sure where East Texas is. I think East Texas is in the other direction.
Yeah, we're talking about Texarkana.
You know, I went into East Texas last night trying to leave this installation. It was late at night, and the gates seemed like they were all closed, so I went out Chaffee Gate. Next thing I know, I was over in East Texas. Took me 45 minutes to get back to the hotel. I could have walked there from here if I could have found the gate in 10 minutes.
Fort Bliss is not a tiny installation, to say the least.
It is not, as I've already
indicated. Quite a bit of real estate out there.
As I've already indicated, it's viewed as the second largest in the United States Army. Big, long cross kick, and it clears the heads of everybody and goes out of bounds on the goal line. But the point I was going to make about ATCs is when I talk to them, they're not just going to maybe share some of the physical things that athletes are dealing with. But, you know, if I want to know what's going on with that athlete in between the ears and maybe with the heart, I think the ATC is going to give me a pretty good picture, maybe sometimes better than a coach.
That is correct. They're the ones seeing them eye to eye, day to day. They're in the trenches with them. They're there before the athletes arrive. They're there afterwards.
Long shot goes to the right side, and it's going to go out of bounds.
So your ATC, they're really your one-stop shop. That's why it's very important to make sure your teams have an athletic trainer on there.
Well, let's put it like this. They are among the most dedicated group of people that I have run into in and around the sports field, period. Bottom line.
I won't argue with that. Now, you can see, Van, once again, just like the last game, the action is down here on the east side of the field. And a lot of that contribute to the wind.
Cross kick there. Nobody to cash in for Korea, not yet. They're going to get it out just a little bit. There's a long shot again.
And the wind helped that carry.
It got up into the, well, not jet stream, but it got into the lower stream of air and just went on by.
I think it hit a jumbo jet up there.
The crossbar. I think this game is very much reminiscent of the game we just saw previous between China and the USA.
It's not that far different. Yeah, you have the team with the goals in the first half. May or may not have helped because of the wind, but you can see that ball just carrying down the field. And while we're down to 16 miles an hour or 25 kilometers per hour, it was up there almost twice that in the first game, and the gusts do not help. Knocked out our internet a couple times, and camera almost took out the camera with the cameraman.
Cameras, well, can be replaced. Cameramen, that's a different story. And long pass downfield, like Canada, but Korea, much like China in the first game, quick to turn it around. You know, I will say this, Steve, about USA in their game against China. In fact, I went over and talked to the coaches for USA at the end of the game as I was going out to check starting lineups for these two teams. I said, you played with heart, you played with class. I've got to hand it to you. You played with heart, you played with class. True, you went down 3-0, and you lost the other night to Korea 1-0. I got to applaud your class, and I got to applaud your heart.
Absolutely. One thing we tell the coaches, you know, I mean, we are at a disadvantage sometimes when you
over the cross.
Oh,
nice, Dave. Nice play by Korea. The cross, and then the attempted foot into the goal. But credit Alex Hogg. She made another diving stop.
She couldn't be fooled on that one. She fouled that from the time it left the foot, avoided the fake, was able to get down there where it counted.
Those are the kind of plays that, in all honesty, if we had the capability, and of course we've had to overcome some technical difficulties as a result of the heat and the conditions here in Fort Bliss, Texas, but we're pleased to be up and be able to live stream this game to you on Facebook and to be posted to YouTube shortly after this game is over. But we're just pleased to be able to do that, period.
And now that we figured out a lot of the technical difficulties, once we get a little bit of a better flow, maybe we might try to introduce instant replay, but we will play on the side of caution for now because of the wind and the heat factors that have been plaguing the stream from the day one. But it is in our intention at some point to make sure these events are fully produced.
And there's no reason they shouldn't be. This is the Military World Cup for women. And 9 countries here. And a bona fide, full-blown international event by militaries from around the world, Steve. And my point is, you know what? There's a lot of people that would like to see this, period.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to continue to work to bring up the level of all of our broadcasts and provide as much exposure as we possibly can for these military athletes. They've earned it. They deserve it. And, oh, by the way, they are a great story.
And just a real quick shout out to Alex Hogue. We have Wendy is watching. Said, Canada, way to go, Alex Hogue. So we hear you. If you got more shout outs, keep them coming on the comment line for Facebook. And let's try to get more views out there, so pass the word on.
Speaking of Alex Hogue, she has just done a yeoman's job here tonight. She really has. She stepped up, played very, very hard in the goal for Canada, and has had her work cut out for her. Down the right side, Korea quick to start. They're going to get it right back.
Now, Van, I don't know if you could hear the wind blowing with our noise cancellation headphones here, but we're going to turn up the volume for a second so the crowd can hear what it sounds like outside. Can you hear that?
Yes, sir. You can hear that.
Normally we try to get it on the crowd, but those flags and that wind is ripping in.
Here comes Canada. Nice shot, but nice deflection that time. Stepping up defensively. That was Han Aryum. You know, you listen to that wind, you turn it up the volume here on the mixer board, it sounds like we're in a wind tunnel. But we're not. We're up here in the press box at Stout Field in Fort Bliss, Texas.
Yeah, we're going to have to check the ears of our soldier up in the crow's nest there. He's been battling that wind. Make sure he gets a good
long
rest.
Shot downfield. Here's the setup. Can they catch up to it?
That ball's running away from her.
It was running clearly away from her. They get it back. A little fakery out on the field. Left foot over towards the center. Canada's going to try to clear it. They get it out from near the goal, and it will come out to the center of the field. One of the things that Korea does that I'm very impressed with, and I saw China do the same thing, they play sideline to sideline. Man, they create passing lanes. They force you to come out and get them. And when you go to the outside, that creates openings on the inside. They capitalize on that. And then watch them go right back out to the outside down deep.
And they're making their opponents bunch in the middle at the opportune times. You can see them. They spread the field out, but then they force the defenders to bunch in, which is creating a lot of those open spaces.
Searle working it back, and it goes back into Alex Hogue.
And we have Kelly watching from Trenton. Now, I'm assuming that's a city in Canada, correct, Kelly? Because we have New Jersey, Trenton. And with my Philadelphia accent, we make sure we pronounce Trenton.
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 You referred to your Philly accent, and again, Trenton, again, is like, right next to Philly. So that's what you're talking about.
Close enough.
You take a look at shots on goal. So far tonight, Korea has had 13 shots on goal. Canada still looking for their first shot of the evening. That's the way this contest has gone, as we are in the 42-minute mark. And Korea, having scored fast and having scored quick, continue to hold on to a 2-0 lead.
Man, with 13 shots on goal, I'm surprised there's not more points up there on that scoreboard.
Well, you can credit the defense, but you can also credit Alex Hogue.
Absolutely.
Now, as we said, we're working on growing. We're able to capture shots, and when we step this up, we'll capture corner kicks, and we will also capture saves by goalies.
And we're getting that stat right now. They're calling down there. We're tracking 6 saves right now.
6 saves. And you're
So
right.
Out of 13, 7 either hit the crossbar. Well, 2 went in, so you got 5 that either hit the crossbar or
bumped
on
out.
the defender. Yep.
I tell you, someone who's
About a
hustling
minute and a
out.
half left.
Somebody who's hustling out there tonight is Han Al-Room. We've called her name consistently. She's been very active on the right side. Good midfield player for Korea. She'll feed it out to the corner. Cross kick, back to the center. No hitter, and Canada will clear.
That was a great clear. Oh, you got a little action going there. Ball's going upfield, but just back in the hands of the defenders or the offense.
Once it gets back in the area of the defender, Kim Yeon-ju, their defenders, they don't just clear and get it out. They take control of it back deep in their own territory and then continue to control the ball and move it wherever they want to move it.
So, Kelly, it's Trenton, Ontario.
Trenton, Ontario. Not New Jersey.
Not New Jersey. Trenton, Ontario. How's the weather up there, Kelly, in Trenton, Ontario?
Nice save over on the right side. Here comes Korea. The races to the ball. Shot goes back to Hogg. Hogg is going to boot it out without picking it up. It's going to go out of bounds. Be Korea's ball. They're going to continue to attack. Talking about Trenton, I don't live too far from Trenton, Kentucky, but now Trenton, Kentucky's only got about, 1,500 people that live there. Trenton, New Jersey, a lot different. Trenton, Ontario, even more different.
Trenton, Kentucky.
Stagecoach used to stop there. Shot straight down the center. You got to run. Out comes Hogg. And nice play by Alex Hogg to stop that threat.
Very nice dish up. Now Canada's looking for an opportunity to get up on the other side of the pitch. So the weather right now, Dan, in Trenton, Ontario, pouring with rain today. I don't think it's rained here in El Paso for a while. It's rather dry here.
You know, not only has it not rained here in a while, I haven't seen a cloud in the sky for a while.
So, Kelly, is it 34 degrees Celsius or 93 degrees Fahrenheit up there in Trenton, Ontario?
That's a leading question if ever I've heard one. Big attack down low, good challenge. Canada comes away with the ball. They're going to work it on the right side, see if they can't get it across the midfield line. There it goes. Stepping up is Kuczynski. Kuczynski can't do much with it, and it goes back down in the direction of Korea. We are beyond the 45-minute mark of the first half. Took a minute out for hydration, water stoppage. Ball on the right side. Cross pass goes left and then goes to the left side of the goal. Korea in line, set it up nicely, just could not finish. Set up, execute, and finish. They had the setup, the execution, they could not finish it. So we're going to look for this half to come to an end here.
22 degrees.
Anytime.
22 degrees.
Wow.
Well, we are at the far end of Texas. We got some elevation here. We got high heat.
And down they go, right in front of us.
And I don't know if you recall during the opening ceremony, our official CISM representative, Brigadier General Martin Ongowi from Kenya, said, "This is hot." There's a difference. He said, there's Africa hot and then there's El Paso hot. And we've introduced everybody to some El Paso heat.
But it's a dry heat. We will say that much about it. It's not the sweltering high humidity heat. Humidity is really, really low.
And it's quite pleasant if you like a hairdryer blowing in your face for about all day.
Ball glances off on the right side.
And that's
as the
gonna do
first
it.
half comes to a close. So 45 minutes of soccer plus a little stoppage time as a result of injury. And we head into the halftime with the Republic of Korea taking a 2-0 lead over Canada. They scored fast, they scored quick, and they never let up the pressure. But credit Canada, they kept the defense strong, particularly through the majority of that first half. So we enter the halftime period here. We're going to step aside, take a little quick break ourselves, get a cold drink of water. Not only do the players, the officials, and the spectators have to stay hydrated, but so do the announcers. So we're going to step aside for a few minutes. We'll keep the video up. We come back, we'll be ready for play in the start of the second half of this game between Korea and Canada. We go into the half. It's Korea 2, Canada 0. We'll be back right after this short break. Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Stout Field here at Fort Bliss as we're getting set for the second half of tonight's game between the Republic of Korea and Canada. Republic of Korea scoring 2 quick goals in the first half, took a 2-0 lead into the halftime. They've had a water break, time to rest, and we're getting set for the start of this, the second half. Earlier tonight, it was China defeating the United States by the score of 3-0. USA now 0-2 in this 2018 Military World Women's Soccer Championship. And this second half is underway. Canada out in the white jerseys, black pants, white socks. Korea red tops. They've got the black pants and the white socks. 13 shots on goal in the first half by Korea. Canada unable to get any valid good shots off. We'll be seeking to turn the tide a little bit here in the second half. Canada tied the Netherlands on the first day of this tournament, 0-0. But as a result of that tie, they did pick up their first point in group competition, as did the Netherlands as a result of the tie. We'll do our best to keep you up to date on the rankings, team standings within each Group A and Group B. Out of bounds on the other side, so Canada will have an opportunity to inbound it. Wind continues to blow strongly around Stout Field here. Throw in by Canada, far side. Game 1 tonight. China stayed on the attack, and the USA in the first half stayed on defense practically the entire half. Here in Game 2 tonight, Korea has stayed on the attack, and mostly during the first half, it was Canada who stayed primarily on defense. The United States was able to turn that around in the second half, but they were unable to score as they spent the majority of the time down on China's side of the field. Now let's see if Canada can do the same with Korea. Long pass downfield. Good hustle down the left side. The crossover. Up steps Alec Hogg. Nice run by Kim Won-ji down the left side. As she crossed it over, there was nobody to hit it in. So Korea comes away empty-handed. Challenge in the midfield. Korea gets back nicely. They not only get back nicely, they also transition nicely. Just like that. The long lead pass down the field. Hogg being challenged, and they're going to call offsides. So you can transition just a little bit too quickly sometimes and get called for that. And that's exactly what we saw. Good play. I think that Alex Hogg knew that. And as she went out to accept the challenge, she was waiting for the call and got that call. Tussle on the far side. Player from each team goes down. And Korea, the throw in back to the backside, and they will bring it up on the left side. Bandu Young on the left side for Korea. Out to Kim Won-ji, back over to the center. Here comes the charge down the center. They fight for it. Nice job that time by Canada in getting it out. Out of bounds, Canada. Korea's ball. They'll inbound. Down to the right side. Korea will bring it out once again.
You know, I can't help but think in the sport of basketball, you'll see him bring it out and set things up from the top of the key many, many times. And that's kind of the style that we see right now out of Korea. They will bring it right back out just like that and reset their offense. And they will play control soccer using a lot of technique, a lot of skilled passing, and a lot of great lanes. We talked about Korea going from sideline to sideline, opening up the passing lanes like that. Over to the left side, back across the center, booted out by Canada. Good play that time. Bon Du-young controlling the tempo on the left side of the field. Kwan Ha-Newell, who scored earlier tonight, shot inside, and it's goal, Korea. They work it down, get the shot from the left side. It's up beyond the arms of Alex Hogg and into the back of the net, and Korea has taken a 3-0 lead over Canada. They scored quickly in the first half. They score quickly here in the second half. 50th minute of play. Canada on the march now. See if they can't get him back one goal at a time. Korea denying the opportunity. Shot over the center, and Canada quick to boot it out. That was Song Se-jin. Song Se-jin on the goal that came in the 50th minute to give Korea a 3-0 lead, and Korea maintains the attack, launching the shot wide. Moving down to the stands, talking to one of the German officials. At the half, we talked about the skill of China. We talked about the skill of Korea that we saw in the first half here against Canada. And quickly agreed that two of the strongest, if not the two strongest team here in Group A, happen to be from the other side of the Pacific, Korea and China. Tomorrow night, we're back for a single game, back to Group B tomorrow night. That is going to be Brazil and France. And for all intents and purposes, that will be a championship-type game in Group B tomorrow night between Brazil and France. Very important contest to see who will go up in Group B in terms of the standings. Again, France winners last night, 6-0 over Germany. Korea down the center, passes off to the left side, back to the center, and it goes just a little bit wide. She had a shot, it did Bon Du-young, but she elected to go with the cross pass instead, and it went wide. Korea very patient on offense, I will say that much. But when they strike quick. Long shot to the outside, batted away by Hogg. Again, another nice play. Another shot goes slightly to the right. Hogg will stop that as well. She has been pestered. She has been challenged, but she has risen to the challenge many times tonight. Straight down the side. That is Rachel Kuczynski now for Canada. but Korea takes over again. As I said, tomorrow night we've got Brazil and France. It's 8 p.m. kickoff time here at Stout Field. That's Mountain Time USA, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And we get another offsides call against Korea. They get aggressive, and they get called for the offside. And then after the single game tomorrow night between Brazil and France, we come back here the following night for Netherlands and China and Canada and the USA. So a lot of soccer still to be played here in the Military World Cup. 9 countries here in El Paso, Texas. And good fight on the far side of the field, but Korea comes out on top. Good cross pass again, but header opportunity no longer there, and it's going to pass deep on the other side. Stays inbounds though, and Korea will have the opportunity to work it again. They leave one defender back on their own side of the field. The others, they're all ahead on the attack. Right side, in comes Korea. Back in the center. Nice block that time. It comes out again. Good defense by Canada. A body in the way. Can't tell you who it was, but that's key and crucial in stopping the attack, stopping the flow of energy by Korea. Comes back down the center. Canada will get it out. Comes down the right side, goes out of bounds. Korea's ball to inbound it again. You take a look at possession time in this game, and that's a stat we're not keeping, but you take a look at possession time, and you're going to see it's heavily in the favor of Korea. Korea once again on the attack. They've got 4 up front. Long pass, left side. Step quicker. Over on the left side right now. Back to the center. And you see Kim Won-ji with a big workout tonight. Out of the center of the field right now, that is Kim Yeon-ju. She'll move it forward. Kwan Ha-nul. Hate to use the word about the straw that stirs the drink, but she's the core of this team. Plays in the midfield. She's got one of the goals, early goals tonight. And there's something you don't see that often. Pass coming across the field, and Korea unable to maintain control of that. As it bounces out of bounds, Canada will inbound the ball. Is back on the headset is my partner in crime here at the 2018 Military World Women's Soccer Championship, Mr. Steve Denote. And Steve, if I had to put a word on Korea, I would say they are relentless.
They're not giving up.
And down on the field, looks like that goes down on the field, Kim Won-ji. That's number 18 down.
And she's staying down for a little while.
And you know, Kim Won-ji was down earlier in the first half, and Korea had to play with 10 aside. But out comes the trainer. Okay, speaking of trainers, and we talked about your ATC, I've got to ask you this question, okay? Because I've seen this 1,000 times, I just don't completely understand it. A player goes down, and they may have a limb that looks like, you know, it's barely hanging on, but out comes this aerosol can, and they spray it on that part of the body that has been, you know, heavily impacted.
Magic spray, Van.
Magic spray. And then,
only athletic trainers know about this. We
Intense.
can only get them in certain corners of, the Lord of the Rings.
It's got to be. Because in 10 seconds, the player pops up again after they put the magic spray on.
If you get the right magic spray, it's 5 seconds.
Incredible. But she is being tended to right now. And this is no magic spray deal. She is down on the field. She is injured. And there is no intention to make any light of that whatsoever. And I was not referring to this particular situation.
And we got a stretcher coming
But you know what I'm talking about. So they bring out the stretcher right now. So it does look like she has a leg injury of some sort.
So funny story about magic spray. Probably about 10 or 11 years ago, I was running the Marine Corps athletic program. And we went over to Plymouth, England for half marathon. And we had a great tradition between the Royal Navy and Marines and the United States Marine Corps. And we are over there, and we had a runner who was nursing an Achilles injury, slight inflammation. And during that time, we just continued to work on her, kept that swelling out of there. And then the day of, we put the magic spray on there. Told her, you can only get it in this part of England. It was basically just a regular cold spray. You spray it on there, just a little top of.
So what you're saying, over half of that is 90% mental, right?
Psychosomatic, as we call it.
Yeah.
Psychosomatic. And she got second place in the whole half marathon.
Wow. Wow.
She came up to me and said, "Thank you for that magic spray." And I said, "Oh, that's just cold spray. I got it at CVS or whatever
it's called." I'm glad to have the opportunity to ask a certified athletic trainer about that, because I've seen it so many times, couldn't explain it. As Kim Wanji is taken off by stretcher, they're going to take her back to her side of the field. They are not going to evacuate her.
That's good.
That's a good sign right there. They don't feel the need to put her in the medical vehicle and take her directly into the hospital. So she will go back to her side. And in all honesty, that is the first injury we have seen now, and this is the 6th game of the tournament.
That is correct. And we're getting some great reaction on Facebook. They say, where do they find these commentators? They don't pay these guys enough. So we do have cups. We will be outside at the end of the game looking for a couple pennies in the jar, if you don't mind. But we also have some shout-outs from the CISM Canada men's basketball team. They're checking in to support their ladies. So not just football out here. We got some basketball players rooting on their fellow Canadians.
And if we continue to pick up on this, what we would like to see down the road, of course, is the opportunity to do this with men's and women's basketball. It's a little bit different trying to cover an outdoor sport like this as opposed to covering an indoor sport like basketball and or volleyball. And then you throw wrestling and boxing in with that, and you've got the opportunity to put across some pretty good productions, and productions that I'm sure people would enjoy following.
Apparently Canada doesn't have any more pennies, as we've just been reminded. Said magic spray works 9 out of 10.
Well, I got my son.
You are correct. 9 out of 10
9
times.
out of 10 times.
Sometimes you get to the bottom of the spray can and it doesn't work anymore.
Like you, Steve, I've watched competition all over the world, and in many, many countries, there's that can of magic spray that regardless of what the injury is, out comes the can.
Magic spray.
Down the right side. Canada controlling the ball on defense, which is where they've been the majority of this night. 3-0 is still the score. We're in the 63rd minute. Canada trying to put an attack together. McClellan in the center. She can't get it done. And any sense of fire that Canada's able to show, Korea is very quick there to douse that. Tried to come over the left side, but nice block that time by Canada. Runner down the right side. Shot opportunity for a goal. One bounce into the arms of the goaltender, Guan Zhu-Young. So there's a legit shot on goal by Canada, but they were unable to convert it for the score. They come back the other way. And we've seen this before as well. Shot straight down the middle, headed back out by Canada.
Man, that was Canada's first shot on goal of the match.
It was a legitimate shot too, Steve.
Yes, it was.
Had she been able to drive it, lift it, bend it just a little bit, they could have had a score. Perhaps I'm asking for too much, but still, put it in the books as a legitimate shot on goal.
There you go. So we've been duly reminded. I think we're talking a little too much about the magic spray with a lot of little funny, laughing, tearing emojis. So I want to talk about why Canada doesn't have pennies anymore. Maybe we can get some more information on what's going on up north.
Pull the binoculars out and let's have a look who's down on the field this time. And I don't know if it's the heat or exactly what it is, but let me see if I can't get a number on the Korean player down on the field. That is the second one down tonight, in the second one in this half. Kim Won-ji carried off on a stretcher. And out comes the stretcher again.
You really do hate to see this.
That's number 11 down on the field. That's Han Aryom, who I said has been involved in a lot of action tonight. You do hate to see that. They're looking at her lower leg. And they lift her up on the stretcher, and they're going to take her off on the stretcher as well. So she has the grimace on her face coming from the pain in her leg. Hard to say what that is. We certainly can't guess, but that's the second Korean player to go off the field in this game on a stretcher.
You got some good sportsmanship from Canada as she was coming off. Some of the players coming back on the field gave her a high five while she was on the stretcher. So bravo, Canada, for that sportsmanship.
So into the game for Korea now comes Kim Da-jeong. Kim Da-jeong.
So we got more great comments coming in. So apparently it costs more than 1 cent to make a penny. And that's the same down here. However, we still like to keep our pennies for some reason. I think the reason why, man, is we have so many of those penny stretching machines around the country.
You know, my friend, I'm not going to help you on this. You have crawled out on this limb by yourself, and I'm going to go ahead and let you saw it off, okay? Simple as that. You had a good offsides call right there. So blatant, so clear from up here, but credit the officials. They have let these two teams really play on throughout the course of the evening. Steve, we've not seen a yellow card here tonight. And fouls have been kept to a minimum. But you can't just credit the officials. I think that the fair play has been down on the field to the highest degree. I really do. I give the credit to the players.
Absolutely. They're playing hard, but they're not playing cheap. And that's what makes a great match. You got a hard-fought match, but there's nothing dirty about this match.
Run down the right side, crosses the middle, and it passes everyone. Korea has missed more than their share of opportunities to score tonight. There's the crossing pass. No header opportunity. Hogg's not going to be able to track it down either.
So far, Korea has 18 shots on goal to Canada's 1.
That's the kind of dominance that Korea has shown tonight.
But you got to give your hats off to Canada.
You have
18 shots, and there's only 3 on the board.
I will tell you that again as I spoke to the American coach after they were defeated by China earlier tonight. I said, you played with heart and you played with class. Well, you know what? I'm going to extend the same compliment to Canada. They continue to play with heart, and they continue to play with class. And you see that when the injured Korean goes down on the field and in good sportsmanship. They are there by her when she goes off on the stretcher.
Canada's team is very similar to our own team in the United States. These ladies are stationed all over the country of Canada and around the world. They get together, I believe, in even less time than our team has gotten together. and they're out here playing world-class soccer with every other team out here. So
Shot down low. There's a shot in towards the goal. Nobody able to pull it around. Canada is coached by Kevin Grigg. He is the coach at Queen's University in Ontario. He's been there for 14 seasons. He's in his 4th year as the head coach of the Canadian women's team, and he used to play for the CISM's men team for Canada when he was playing. He's assisted by James Landé, who's in his 1st year. Landé comes in from Montreal. But you're right, they've been together for 1 week. They practiced together, trained in Calgary, Canada. And I asked him, what did you think what could you accomplish to acclimate yourself to the heat here that you were going to face in El Paso, Texas? And they said, well, we were in Calgary thinking that the altitude could help us perhaps more than anything else that we could find. And as we've already heard, it's a lot cooler up there than it is down here.
for all those listening in Calgary, what's the temperature? Because I believe it might be a little cooler than Trenton.
But your point about the Canadian team coming together, much like the U.S. U.S. had 2 weeks of training. The Canadian team only had 1 week.
Actually, we had 3 weeks for the U.S. and
3 weeks.
2 weeks for Canada, I believe.
Well, they told me, the coaches
Did
told
they
me
tell you?
coaches told me they were together 1 week.
Just 1 week? Okay,
Yeah, in
my
Canada.
mistake. But we have a different. We use the metric. They use the metric system. So that's
Time is
probably
time.
where the.
Time is time.
So.
A metric week is the same as an imperial week.
Yeah.
The last time I checked.
So right now up in Calgary, it's 494 degrees Kelvin.
Got it.
Yep.
71st
30
minute of
degrees
play.
Celsius, I believe. Yeah. So it's been a while since I've had any type of real science class, and unfortunately, with athletic training, we don't use the Kelvin.
You know what? We're going to give you just a little less sugar tomorrow by the time we come into the booth tomorrow night, okay?
Sugar, sugar, sugar.
Sugar, sugar. Korea coming down the left side.
Hey, I'm not making this up, man. I'm just reading from the prompter.
Moon Seung Mi here on the left side in front of us. That's number 28. Crosses back over to the far side. And again, as we said, Korea will go from sideline to sideline, set things up, create passing lanes, running lanes as well, lay it up there, look for the headers if they can. They're very talented, very disciplined, very skilled, technically proficient soccer team. You have to give credit where it's due. And as I said earlier, they have played together for a couple of years. They play in the highest league as a team, women's league, back in Korea. And that's what it takes to mold a good team. Time together. Here they come on the run, left side, out to the outside. Nice lead pass. Bounces off of one, deflected off a Korean, and goes out of bounds. Kim Dajeong again in on the action for Korea. Nice left foot by Hogg. She boots it long down the field. And Kwon touches the ball, one of the rare times here in the second half. And it's out to Korea again.
So we're getting some feedback here. It looks like out of that 1 week camp up in Canada, it rained 2 of those days. So slightly different conditions than here in El Paso.
But I go back to 2 nights ago when Canada played the Netherlands to a 0-0 draw. And it's not the kind of thing that you say, okay, moral victories. That's not what we're talking about. But that contest meant a lot to the Canadian team because the Netherlands is a good team. Those team members know each other. They have played together in Holland for some time, and Canada took them to the 0-0 draw. So it was a hard-fought contest, and one in which the draw really had its own sense of reward, as Canada picked up its first ever group point in their history of CISM play.
And going back to that match the other night, most of that action occurred between the 20s. It was just midfielders' delight, back and forth, defense, and the midfield just dominate the play. Forward and defenders.
So in the 74th minute, we take this pause here. Again, the modified FIFA rules, which CISM has said safety first, will send the teams back over to the sideline for water so that they can get hydrated when they come back out on the field to finish this game. And, you know, Steve, I don't recall having seen that in soccer games in the past. I mean, unless the heat is really oppressive.
And it is within the FIFA regulations. It's not just a modified CISM rule. So one of the questions our medical director promptly asked is, what's the procedures for getting everybody hydrated out there during this immense heat? Because just the other night it was 107 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And just a little hot. And, of course, the president for the CISM football committee said, nope, we follow the the FIFA regulations, and we will have mandatory water break halfway through each half.
There is a permanent technical committee that is set up. It's called the Football Committee for CISM, and they are the ones that actually oversee the conduct of this tournament. And they do a very fine job. They handle all the technical aspects, from referee assignments to eligibility of players to the rules and so forth.
Yeah. And we're getting some questions. How hot is it right now here in El Paso? We are 33 degrees Celsius. 33 degrees Celsius. Still 91 degrees Fahrenheit out there. So it's a dry, cool heat for El Paso. This is a little cool temperature right now.
So after the water break, time moves on, and so does the play. So does the action. Right side over there, that's Kim Young-ju. Over on this side, right now back on defense, that's going to be number 28, Moon Seong-mi. Canada's ball. Let's see if they can mount an attack here in the latter portion of the second half. 77th minute.
So I'd like to say a shout out to both our teams playing, all those listening in South Korea and in Canada. Welcome to the Armed Forces Radio, as we say. Armed Forces Sports Radio.
Oh, yeah, be careful on that, because there actually is an Armed Forces
No, I
radio,
know.
radio and television network.
I was watching the action, and I forgot to add sports in there. See.
It's called AFN in
That
the
is
Pacific, and AFN over in Europe, and they do a fine job downrange. There is the charge. Nice play by Hogg. She comes out of the goal and literally blocks that shot attempt. Fine play by Alex Hogg. Hogg just did a nice play on that and stopped the goal.
She said, not right now.
Not today. Korea relentless. They're back on the attack. Over on the left side. Bantu Young tries to center the ball. Shot back on goal, and it's going to go left to the left side.
So we do have a comment right now. It said if the temperature was below 0 in Canada, they would be up by 3. The heat's just too much.
Well, it's good to know that we have people around the world that are able to tune in to this live stream.
I agree. You know, the first time I ever was really exposed to soccer as a coach, coaching 10 to 12-year-olds, and never played before, never coached before soccer. I looked back at the ice hockey days and said, you know what? Just like an ice hockey match, just twice as many people, and you got the turf.
Yeah. Other than that, it's just like ice hockey, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
you have
using your feet.
turf instead of ice.
Yep. And I used to be a goalie, so I remember the first time we were doing a little friendly scrimmage with the kids and all the parents, and one of my kids decided to shoot the ball on me, and I decided to go down in one of those splits. You know, doesn't really work when you're in cleats. So I think I pulled something. It still hurts today, and that was, you know, over 15 years ago.
And you haven't forgot it. Of course, when you still have the effects, no, you're not going to forget it. I will tell you that the first key soccer match I saw was Ajax Holland and Real Madrid. I saw it in Madrid, Spain. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago it was. I mean, that would give away too much. But it was part of the European Cup, and I paid for tickets and stood on the roof of the stadium. And I'll never forget it. That was my first introduction to European soccer. And then after we moved to Europe and lived there, working with Army Sports over there for almost a decade, at that point I got a lot of opportunities to see Bundesliga and some other pretty good soccer. Came to understand the sport and what it means, particularly to countries outside the United States. That's why this is this time of year. You can't beat it. With the Men's World Cup going on in Russia, and then the Military World Cup here at El Paso, Texas at Fort Bliss, quite honestly, you can't ask for a lot more.
And we have Ryan chiming in saying, Polar Bear Pride. Polar Bear Pride. We hear you. Keep those comments coming.
81st minute of this game. Score remains 3-0 Korea. Canada settled on defense. They've got everybody back in a defensive alignment. Down goes another player, slow to get up, but great sportsmanship that time.
Once again,
you could see that time, very nicely done. That was Rachel Kuczynski who reached out the hand and helped the Korean player up off the turf. This turf is artificial, by the way. It's only been down for about 5 weeks. It's brand new. The lines you see out on the field in yellow are actually the markings for flag football to be played by units and soldiers here at Fort Bliss.
Fort Bliss has done an amazing job, not just with hosting this tournament, but providing the morale, welfare, recreation services to all the soldiers and the other service members also stationed here at Fort Bliss. And because of the fine efforts, when they decided to raise their hand and say, we will host this event, we can host it, Army Sports, Fitness, and Aquatics from headquarters, Department of Army, just turned around and said, they were due for a new field anyway, let's expedite and get them that new field. And the beneficiaries right now are these fine women in uniform competing out there. And once they're done, this field's going to be used for many events, soccer, flag football, and whatever else they decide to come out here with.
It's a first class turf. No two ways about that. Lieutenant Joycelyn Coe goes out of the game, and so there's a substitution. Coming out into the game in her place is Elaine O'Connell for Canada. And it's called control football. That's what you're seeing from the Koreans. They will manage the clock. They know where they are. They have a 3-0 lead. They realize that they're in the 83rd minute of play. And they realize that all they need to do at this particular point in time, more than anything else, is control the ball. And we have another substitution for Korea coming out of the game. That's going to be Number 21 for Korea out of the contest now goes Kim Mi-jin. And coming into the game, that's going to be number 22, Ju Seol-ki. Ju Seol-ki into the game for Korea. She'll play in the midfield. Once again, good matchup tomorrow night. Our only game in Group B. That's going to be between France and Brazil.
And we'll be back out here at 8 o'clock Mountain Time for more live coverage.
Here's the question of the week. We'll be here at 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Do you know what time it will be in Beijing?
No. Let me grab my phone.
Good point. Absolutely
these
good
phones,
point.
These phones spoil us these days. You don't say get my camera. You don't say let me get my calendar.
You say
let me get the encyclopedia. You say let me get my
phone.
phone.
I will tell you right now that it's Hong Kong, it's 12:45. In Frankfurt, Germany, 6:44 in the morning. In Bangkok, 11:44 a.m. They're all on my phone. I just erased Kuala Lumpur and Ho Chi Minh City. All places that I've been in the past 2 years, believe it or not.
Wow. Well, this year we had a not so busy travel schedule. All our travels internationally were within the Americas, so we were either in the same time zone or just 1 hour ahead. So we got lucky.
Yeah, we did. Very fortunate.
Yeah. So since we're online, I'd like to give a shout out to the KFAC in South Korea, the Korean Armed Forces Athletic Center. They are your world-class athlete program for Korea. They contribute to quite the number of Olympians for the Korean national teams. And they are primarily located in Munyang, the site of the 6th Military World Games in 2015. And when we went to visit there, my counterpart from Canada, Mr. Denis Gabourey, who oversees the Canadian Armed Forces Sports Program, we traveled there together to see what the accommodations would look like in advance of the World Games. We had the pleasure of taking a tour of the KFAC, and the commanding general at the time, who was also the chief of delegation, looked at me and said, "What do you think?" I simply said, "I want one."
I want a KFAC, just like that. Yeah.
Yep. If you could wrap it up and put it on the Christmas tree.
A lot of midfield play right now. Korea backed off a little bit on the attack, and as soon as I say that, they turn it upfield once again. Head to the right side. Keep it in bounds. Hustle back. You talk about winning challenges. There you see it deep into this contest.
Stayed on her feet. You had a shot.
Had a
but
shot.
Canada's up for the attack now.
Canada turns it around, but Korea turns it back the other way just as quick. Deflected off the back of a Canadian player. And Alex Hogg boots it long.
Boot.
She can kick. She's got power and strength in her leg. And already, Steve, what I'm taking a look at is watching China play earlier tonight, now watching Korea play here in this contest against Canada. What we're looking at down the road in pool play in Group A is a matchup between Korea and China, and that promises to be a good one. In fact, that is going to come on the 30th of June, second game of the day. On 30 June.
That's the last pretty much the last match for Group A. That's going to determine who gets into the championship match.
Yeah, and that's the gut feel, isn't it?
Yep. And now it's not over. You still got Canada and Netherlands. They still are going to press and challenge China. So we're going to see how this goes. Let's not count the Dutch out just yet.
You can't. And certainly we won't. Pace is slowing down considerably, but then again, we're reaching the end of regulation time.
And as you mentioned earlier, you have Brazil and France tomorrow night. And then Tuesday, you have Netherlands and China. First match opening up at 6:30 Mountain Time. And then with neighbors of North and South, Canada, USA at 9 o'clock.
And that'll be a good one. It always is a good one.
Yes.
They're two kind of evenly matched teams in many respects.
In many respects, yeah. Both are.
Oh, they both go down in a fight for the ball.
Both teams follow very similar patterns on how they selected teams. Very similar conditions. As our men and women are out there around the world stationed.
Good control of the ball. I like the way that Korea controls the ball. I really do. Technically speaking, they just do a really good job.
And we are now in extra time.
Stoppage time applies over to the right side. Korea not content to just sit on the 3-0 score. They'll charge. Great play by Hogg. Came
Once
out of the
again.
goal. Turned it away.
Once again, not afraid to confront the attackers.
You know, talking about production capabilities, one of the neat things that, well, I'm going to envision down the road, Steve, to note, is a highlight film. And we've seen enough highlights in the initial 6 games of this tournament to know that there's enough out there for a very nice highlight film.
Absolutely. And as we continue to evolve with our live streaming capabilities, I mean, it was only just a few years ago where we started this. And we were hosting the Armed Forces Wrestling Championship in 2013 in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And USA Wrestling live streamed the event for us. And it was so popular, we asked them to come back, not just for the 2014 Armed Forces Wrestling Championship, but also the CISM Wrestling Championship held at Fort Dix, New Jersey, just a little south of Trenton.
Gary Abbott, the Director of Communications with USA Wrestling, runs the communications department there, brought the equipment out to Fort Dix, New Jersey in the CISM Wrestling Championships in 2014. We were able to live stream that. And from there, as I really emailed Gary Abbott earlier this week, I said I'm at Fort Bliss, Texas, because he was at Lehigh University. He was at Penn State a couple of weeks ago with the final X of the World Team Trials of USA Wrestling. I said, Gary, we're using the techniques and system that you introduced us to here at the Armed Forces competitions, and then, of course, the World Military Games, the World Military Women's Soccer Championship.
And during that time they were out there, we huddled right over their shoulder, saying, what are you using? What are you doing? And we're slowly repeating that.
Wow, you take a look at the shots on goal tonight. 22 shots on goal by Korea. One that we can count for Canada. They've been on the defense for most of the night. 11 saves tonight for Alex Hogg.
But there's only 3 points up on the board.
And there's only 3 points up.
So that you gotta Team Canada, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, job well done.
Job well done.
That much attack, and you held them off. It could have been a lot worse.
You held them off. You had a number of spectacular plays on defense. You challenged on most of the balls, just like we saw just there. You've covered the area. You did not back off. You played with resilience. We said that earlier about the United States as they lost to China 3-0. Shot down on goal. Out comes Hogg. And there is your game. Time expires, and the final score is the Republic of South Korea has beaten the Canadian women's military team 3 points to none. 3-0, Korea over Canada. And it was a game, I think, Steve, to note that Canada made their mark early and earned a lot of respect from a lot of the people that watched them play early on in this contest by the way they went after Canada.
Absolutely. So they have a tough road ahead. They still got to play Netherlands, and then they're going to play China. Those two matches right there is going to determine whether they're in the championship match.
That it will, but give Korea credit. They beat the United States 2 days ago, 1-0. They come back and they shut out Canada 3-0. They have now picked up 6 points in group play. They sit atop the rankings of the 5 teams in Group A. They sit atop right now of the USA, the Netherlands, Canada, and China. Canada they've got 1 draw and 1 loss. China, they are 1-0. The Netherlands, they are 1 draw. That's all they've had. Korea now 2-0, and the United States 0-2, and that's the way they line up in Group A. Again, tomorrow night, we are back on the air live streaming 8 p.m. when Brazil will take on France in a key matchup in Group B. That's tomorrow night, Monday night, and then we are back here at Stout Field on Tuesday night for 2 games, the Netherlands and China, and Canada and the United States. So still a lot of great soccer ahead here in the 2018 World Military Championships for women's soccer. Got to stop and figure out where we are and what day of the week it is. Not always that easy sometimes. But wherever you are, we're glad you've been with us. We look to have you back here again tomorrow night, and as we continue to go down the route in pursuit of the Military World Cup for Women. Steve, denote your closing thoughts.
What a great tournament so far. Looking forward to action tomorrow night in Group B. We'll see what happens between 2 fierce rivals, Brazil and France.
Take them one at a time.
Can't complain.
Can't complain. We're fortunate. We're blessed.
As long as the equipment behaves, wind behaves, sun behaves, we'll be back.
And that's going to do it from Stout Field here in El Paso, Texas at Fort Bliss. For Steve Denote and for our entire broadcast crew, until next time, I'm Van Stokes saying so long, everyone.